pulled against their will into a world of hardship and death. Individuals from all walks of life are forced to survive in a hostile land reigned over by a mysterious megalomaniac, able to change the environment to suit his own whims. The one to sit upon the throne of this world is hardly a leader though, and is rather a prisoner in their own right to something much more insidious. But a time may come when one in league with those shadowy watchers will take the throne willingly, risking every soul who resides within this strange place, and threatening to reignite a pan-dimensional conflict between two unfathomable powers. Gods had begun. Humanity had all players deep and challenging. Different is less likely to get me horribly Beyond an existence shackled by the trivial concepts of space and time, reside transcendental beings of incomprehensible power and intellect. For whole eternities they remain unknown and unfettered by realities beyond their own, but in time their isolation would be shattered by the touch of eldritch entities wishing to spread their all-consuming darkness. An eons-long struggle ensued between the entities of light and shadow, before the darkness was eventually forced back into the void between realities. Even now the gestalt creatures of light had not prevailed, for the creeping hand of darkness reached still, and drastic action must be taken to contain it. To close the rift from which the shadows stretched, a realm was forged within the void, a constant seal to forever stem the flow of nightmares. Retreating back to their own reality, the entities of light left behind a part of themselves, a body that would become a moon of the constant, containing avatars of their true forms, to watch over the rift, ensuring it would never open again. Over the course of its existence, life developed in the constant, plants and birds and animals, and soon one of those life forms, an odd, almost shrimp-like creature, developed sapience. They gathered into tribes, tilled the land for crops, and dug minerals out of the ground to build their society. It was to be these mining operations that would lead them to make a startling discovery though. Life in the constant was not easy, and really for a world hanging in the infinite nothing, it should have been impossible. But as the fledgling peoples of the constant dug deeper into the ground, they uncovered whispers of power from far below, a power that they could use to fuel their civilization. Following the whisper far into the core of the constant, they found a dimensional crack which leaked the powerful substance they had followed from the surface. The shrimp creatures used this fuel to construct a great city around the rift, and used it to shape their civilization. Under the watch of the society's twin heralds, a gateway was constructed in order to force the rift open so that more of the fuel could be collected. But when it came time to activate the device, streams of brilliant white energy poured towards the gateway as the creatures of the moon tried to stop the portal from opening and unleashing the nightmare shades once more. Although at first seeming like they had succeeded in their attempt, the rift had been wedged open enough for the power of the shadow entities to spill out. Seeing only the benefit it held for their people, one of the heralds used the increased flow of fuel without limit to propagate crops, create novel machines, and bring an unheard of prosperity to their civilization. In time, it was even discovered that the fuel could be used to reanimate the dead and transform the living. Through experiments with the fuel that many would call unnatural, entities such as the Ancient Guardian and Fuel Weaver were born to watch over the gateway. But the more the fuel was used, the wider the portal was forced open, and while the population celebrated their newfound fortune, the other heralds grew concerned over the fuel's use. Even though their fears were disregarded, the danger they had seen in the gateway would soon come to pass, as the portal grew ever wider until it tore open the rift, allowing the power of the shades to flow out unimpeded. The people of the great civilization quickly began to fall foul of the torrents of nightmare fuel flooding into the constant. Those it did not outright kill were transformed into horrifying abominations, subservient to the will on the other side of the portal. In a last-ditch effort to close the rift, the lunar beings bestowed the power of light upon the second herald, who fought back the darkness and went on to destroy the gateway, closing the rift and giving their own life in the process. The shadow had already spread too far though, consumed too much of the world already, and left alone in their crumbling civilization, the remaining herald laid down their power, only now realizing how much they had been corrupted by it. As it reduced the constant to nothing but ash, the shadow tried to coerce the herald to use its power to reopen the gateway. Having seen the error of their ways, the herald knew exactly what awaited them if they did not cooperate, but refused nonetheless, and was, as a result, removed from the throne. Despite the damage inflicted upon the constant, the rift was sealed, and the darkness was isolated, unable to threaten the beings of light, so the moon was content to merely observe, ready to intervene if a situation called for it. The nightmare creatures, however, would be much more proactive in their efforts. Hi everyone, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did and want to support the channel, then please consider subscribing and hit that bell so that YouTube might possibly inform you when a new video comes out. If you want to go that bit further, please feel free to support the channel on Patreon or go and buy some merchandise on Spreadshirt and Teespring. Links are all down in the description. Other than that, have a great day and I'll see you next time.